So glad I'm not in North Korea, or else Kim Jong-un would behead the shit out of me. Virus investigations hits once again, ladies and gentlemen, and this week, North Korea is in the spotlight once again. North Korea with its WannaCry possibilities, with its video games, with everything, with its deep web mentionings. We've had North Korea mentioned quite a few times on this channel, and rightfully so, man. North Korea is an interesting place. Being the hermit kingdom and being the exclusive part of the world, it's a place where very few people get in and even fewer people get out. So what is with North Korea and today with virus investigations? This week we're sort of broadening the term. Now it's not any specific type of virus or malware or anything of this of the way, shape, or form. Today is an entire operating system that actually can be gotten into fairly easily. It's from North Korea itself, and it is a giant walking security flaw on fucking legs, wheels, datas, ones and zeros, whatever you want to call it. Now, before we begin, we have to start talking about operating systems very briefly. No, I'm not going to get in-depth with OSs, but I'll give you an idea of general security parameters that comes to an operating system. Right now, the most popular operating systems in the world go as following, not in any specific order. Microsoft Windows, Mac OS X, various flavors of Linux, typically from the Debian, Fedora, I forgot what the third exact branch is, but Linux in general, Android, iOS, and, well, all the tinier operating systems. But let's just put those 5 OSs at the top forefront. Android is the mobile king operating system. This is where all those tablets and smartphones that aren't Apple products typically reside on, which constitute, I believe, 70% of mobile usage, even more. Android is popular, it's no slouch. And even compared to Microsoft Windows, might actually overtake as the global leading operating system by usage right now. Big deal. Microsoft Windows is the desktop choice for OS. As much as people want to throw OS X out there or even Linux, Microsoft dominates market share on PC. And rightfully so. They have dominated it since the beginning. They have entrenched themselves into the very fabric of PC society. You want to play some top-end games, you gotta use Microsoft Windows. You want to use the equivalent high-end software like Adobe Premiere or something of the sort, you gotta use Windows. Yes, there's some software available for Linux and even OS X, but sometimes the Windows versions may even overshadow just because developers choose to program for that by sheer volume of usage. And because of the fact that the PC is a customizable platform, Windows is without a choice the dominant OS for it. Mac OS X, very useful on Mac products. Sometimes you can run a Hackintosh kit, if you will, or Linux or whatever. But regardless, these are the most popular systems. And security in these systems are top-notch. I'm going to give you a flyby of it of as much as I can. iOS, one of the most popular mobile platforms right up there. If you have an iPhone, you're running iOS. Comes pretty stock with high-end security applications installed right entrenched within it. Right now, Apple, as far as I know, even unlocked an update which actually prevents police from accessing the USB data throughput. I mean, you could reset that, but regardless, it is a system that iOS keeps updating as time goes on. Android, Google, constantly patching in security flaws all the time. Yes, there is the issue of fragmentation on that platform, but they're always having issues patched, and it's kind of a commendable task on Google's part. Microsoft Windows, as much as people want to shit on Microsoft Windows for the fact that they have been hacked and there's many hacks running around for it, it is the most popular operating system. It's going to have viruses. But looking at just Windows 10 and the security features they've introduced, even recently a ransomware prevention toolkit built right in, Microsoft really gives a fuck about the security on the platform, and it shows. And I mean, they kind of have to. Microsoft is cutting edge when it does come to security and software, at least in their position in the tech industry. Mac OS X, very secure, obviously by its Unix design. And Linux, because it's not the most popular OS and it's more secure by any other thing in design, is going to have less viruses more so as time even goes on. By nature, it is a secure operating system, and because of its rather niche market in the computer usage world, it obviously is not going to be as attacked as thoroughly as, say, Microsoft Windows or even OS X. So yeah, you get an idea of how security in the most popular operating systems work. And why did I cover that as well? Because this system, Red Star OS, which is a North Korean operating system that we're actually going to be taking a look at shortly, is an operating operating system that is right out of North Korea. These guys created this to combat the evil imperialistic usages of Microsoft Windows in their society. Fun fact, North Korea still uses Microsoft Windows more than their own operating system, and B, they have copied the imperialistic, dirty Apple OS X. Literally, when we look at the design over here, they have copied OS X down to a T. But what makes this important too is after we've done analyzing it, I'm going to actually show you how unsecure using this operating system really is going to be. Now, of course, let's go over the fact that because it's a North Korean OS, obviously it's going to have North Korean surveillance built right into it, but we'll all cover that in a second. For now, we're going to actually cut to us assessing, analyzing, post-installation, obviously on a virtual machine, looking into how this operating system functions. So let's look at that, and then I'll come meet you right after that. And we have a installed product here, ladies and gentlemen, of Red Star 3.0, whatever you want to call it. This is, in fact, what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. It is the full version of the operating system 3.0 to begin with. And now I've installed it on a virtual machine that is not even using full priorities of. I actually thought this was going to be a 64-bit operating system at the time of recording this, but turns out we're dealing with a 32-bit OS. I gave this about like 4 or 6 gigs of memory, and if you look inside the actual system settings real quick, you can see that it's only registering 2.95 gigabytes, which is indicative of a 32-bit operating system. They typically can't see anything over that amount of RAM, right? I think 3.5 gigs is the most that Windows was ever able to see on a 32-bit machine. But it does recognize my CPU just fine on this system, and it is obviously published by Red Star. Now, I'm going to tell this right now, okay? I thought when I heard that this copied OS X, it was going to be a weird version of OS X. I don't know. But yeah, this is pretty goddamn faithful to what I expected, ladies and gentlemen. This is Macintosh OS X down to a T. If you look around over here, and if you have a Macintosh to begin with, a Mac OS X system, you'll actually see that, wow, it is a very faithful recreation. You can go up here and literally change your timers and whatnot. You can look around up here for extra goodies and whatnot, and everything over here is, it's an entire replica of OS X. If I go around over here and make a new folder to begin with, and I don't know why they have this bullshit lime green tinge going to it. It wants to be. They got this puke green crap showing up. Let me actually bring it out over here. Now, obviously, the program is in Korean, so I'm not able to really read it as well as I would hope. But oh, are you kidding with me? Oh, it has everything down. I'm waiting for Launchpad to show up, man. Okay, that's creating shortcuts, so not that key at all. No, that's not that as well. That's copying it once more, buddy. Yeah, here it is. You can even see that down to giving the permissions list, even the locking or whatnot, you know, locking it this way or unlocking it. Everything is copied directly from OS X. Like, you know, if Apple wants to sue a motherfucker, oh, you bet your ass they will sue a motherfucker. I have no doubt about it. But what's kind of interesting over here, too, is if you look at this 1.07.07.11, I feel like that's North Korean localhost. Like, that's their 127.0.0.1. It is just weird. But anyways, moving past that, it's pretty snappy. It starts off working pretty quickly. And I don't really have any qualms with its speed. They've got a bunch of wallpaper options. Again, if you have OS X like knowledge, like if you use OS X, I used it at work, you have a pretty good idea of where things are, even if it is in Korean. But bonus points if you can read and write Korean, right? But they've got a bunch of wallpapers that all look okay. I mean, I'm sure these were taken in North Korea somewhere. I mean, I would hope. They're trying to get their Windows XP game going on strong over here. That's straight ripped off from what? That's from OS X, man. These have to, okay, that's just a different, like, version of it, dude. Holy, oh, it's like watching a Tamil movie, dude. It's just colors on colors, buddy. That's straight ripped off Google Images. Probably off Google Images. Yeah, I'm starting to bet these are these stolen off some Huawei phone? I'm unsure. Okay, this is standard puke green. Windows XP. Ah, they got a little. Oh man, they're going ham, dude. Okay, these aren't bad. I mean, you know, I'll rate their game pretty cool. This is the mountain that I think Kim Jong-il was born on. All right. Ooh, mountains over there practice Juche ideology, right? And over here, they've got, oh, that actually looks like it's straight ripped out from the Far Cry 5 Vietnam DLC, but you know what? I'm going to go with the Galaxy, right? It's usually the best to sort of counteract the puke green tendencies this has. But other than that, nothing really too special. The settings menu looks shot for shot something out of a Linux distro or OS X. Now, the backbone of this is Fedora Linux, so just understand that when you're jumping into this. Here they've got a way for me to at least signify... Oh, can I pick a resolution? No, these are just for mission control type deals. No, open that up again. Is there any way I can change things? No, I cannot. I can't do anything in this way. Here's some color calibrators, CD-DVD ports, power command. Oh, CMOS power commands. All right, look over here. Here we can actually change, I think, resolutions. So, ooh, okay, there we go. All right, at least. Oh, yeah, it's, oh my God. Why am I getting so blown away by the tiniest Okay, so they got an internet browser. I tried opening it up, but it seems like can't connect to anything. I believe this is routed through like North Korean internet. You know, North Korea, like 10.76.1.11 is like probably accessible if you're connected to like North Korea's ISP services, which I am not, so I don't expect any internet connectivity. But they've got a general file browser, which again, it's Finder, all right, is what it comes down to. They've got, you know, your instruction manual, it seems, all right, your guidelines, a PDF reader, if you want to read PDFs on this, God forbid. It seems it's copied straight off from Adobe Acrobat by the logo. But, you know, you got your file browsers, you got a, you know, Post-it notes, so, you know, you can write Post-it notes on your computer. I just want to kind of open it to see how the RAM management has helped. Your media player, if you want to, God forbid, watch your heathenistic American movies on this, right? You've got your, I believe this is the action scripter, the macro tool. You've got your photo image program, again, straight copied right out of Apple. And you've got OpenOffice, so if you want to, you know, write your filthy documents on this, well, you have your option, right? God forbid. And one thing I've noticed, it doesn't really have the pop-out dialog boxes from the top of the applications. They've been really missing out. Yeah, it's OpenOffice, so ODT, all that stuff. They've been sort of keeping it down on that, right? But over here they've got font selection, all right, font installer, a contact book. I don't know if anybody even uses that shit on their computer, right? Again, your wait, I want to kind of see this. They even got startup disk options, man. This is so eerily similar. A photo editor? Is that a photo editor? You're fucking with me. It's a photo editor, I'm pretty sure. The program's dying now. It's actually kind of dying. But here you've got a way for you to install or delete applications. So it seems like you were able to install applications from some server in North Korea. But around over here, you've got that about it. You got an email client, and then you've got this song writing tool. So yeah, weird set of things attributed to this program, I guess. It's so weird. Give me a second. Terminal editor to go around with. So if you want a terminal shell for whatever reason, then you can sort of pseudo your way around things. So you can definitely see it's based. You can run your bash scripts if you want all that you care about. So am I necessarily impressed on what this is? I mean, it's really just Fedora Linux, but it's been gussied up to look, I guess, appealing or an OS X type North Korean version of their operating system. For something that's not widely in use, I can definitely see why people use Windows 7 or XP just more in North Korea anyways, just because of its more accessible usage in a way. But, you know, if you want the North Korean version of the best OS, instead of the filthy, imperialist, scummy Windows and OS X that you've been using, then by all means, RedStar is available for you. If you want to write documents, I guess, then you got it over here. But at that point, I mean, might as well just install Linux at this point, right? So anyways, I think that's all I can really analyze or show you all of this OS for. Let's go back to the actual analytical side and see just how terrible this version of Linux could really be. And ladies and gentlemen, aside from installation and everything, yes, everything is down to a T copied right out of OS X. Literally the installing of this operating system is shot for shot, close to how you install OS X on a Macintosh. Now, obviously, you've seen that it is a clear-cut copycat of Apple's OS. But beyond that, you might wonder, well, Muda, why are you putting this in virus investigations? This is just an operating system, right? Well, because of its Fedora base, you might think that, hey, it's got some security to it. Fedora is to be trusted when it comes to securing your workstations. But this is one where the actual safeguards of North Korean surveillance actually prevent this from even being a secure operating system by design. Or it's just severe, egregious oversight at North Korean the development, at least for the software.
One of the biggest things that people overlook is just how closely Red Star OS actually monitors its user base, and that's the biggest shot in the foot to the entire OS. For those of you who just want a quick example of what's really possible over here, the entire actual operating system has a surveillance system inside it, basically to spot what you're doing. If you're storing government secrets or hiding censored files, the system has a way of actually getting rid of those files or encrypting them in such an algorithm that it's only, I guess, readable by the state of North Korea. And more so on that fact, it actually comes host on host with administrator privileges that are usually blocked off from the average user anyways. Its own files are actually blocked off to the point that usually you're not even able to sudo or access basic administrator privileges that would be granted if you're a power user of Linux. So if you add up how much surveillance software this actually tosses into it, the fact that it can be compromised by email hacks, which we're about to discuss, can be gravely disastrous to somebody actually using this to not only store their own data, but under the threat of a North Korean regime where if anything is out of the ordinary on your system, you might be sent to a labor camp. I don't know.
For those of you who don't know, email attacks are still commonly used nowadays to infect people and steal all their information. Trust me, email attacks haven't gotten anywhere. In fact, over the past decades, they have become more interesting as time has went on. So how does this exactly work? Well, security researchers have discovered that simply sending a link, yes, a link, through the mail service over on North Korean side, the mail service itself, a simple link, can actually allow people to launch arbitrary code right onto this device as well, which in short terms really just means that if they want to install malware or remote programs or start accessing things remotely, all you need are fucking links. And if you think that is sad, if you think that is an oversight, ooh, would that be putting it fucking lightly? It is in fact the biggest oversight I might have seen. Is this uncommon by any chance? No, email attacks can be common, can in fact be pretty interesting how they're pulled off, but the fact that you can easily pull them off over on Red Star 3.0, I am kind of shocked to wonder how this could have actually worked in Red Star 2.0, because there is an archive for that too. You can install that. But being a 32-bit OS, being something designed for weaker systems in particular, I'd almost be hard-pressed to know if they actually have never even bothered patching in somewhat of CPU vulnerabilities that have been available. This is a weird situation that has sort of popped up, and one that actually makes this OS kind of pointless if you're going to use it in, say, government circles. See, for those of you who don't know, cyber attacks happen on a daily basis. Russia attacks the United States, and the United States is no fucking saint either. They attack Russia, China, whatever they want to attack, the US goes full force. Now, North and South Korea have always been at odds with one another, and they always obviously have cyber attacks going around. While there might be Dokaibi-esque logic bomb attacks from the South Korea side, you can be hard-pressed to know that they would definitely use this tactic to attack North Korean systems. And it's precisely why North Korea still to this day uses Windows 7 to, I believe, Windows 10 over this, just because Windows is more secure by design. Yes, the government of North Korea, despite hating America all that they want, most likely uses Windows 7 to protect their sorry ass. Because if you started using Red Star 3.0 and simply started launching malware, something that could, possibly a remote administration tool right onto this device in of itself through a link, through a mail link, which, depending on how secure internet services are in North Korea, probably fucking nil, could have been injected on South Korean sides, and, people could definitely have their Red Star commie OSs completely dominated, abused, and injected with, and frankly, secret files that the North Korean side could have been stolen. So while spooky government secrets are definitely kept at bay due to the non-usage of this operating system, you bet your ass that hopefully North Korea might decide that they may not only update, but hopefully change their more copyright violating services and tools, at least available on this platform, to hopefully create Red Star 4.0. I know I'd be looking forward to it, never would want to install it because who wants to install North Korean spyware, literal fucking spyware on their computer, right? You, in fact, can download this operating system and fuck around with it all you want. It's freely available. I'm sure North Korea would hate if you did. I'm sure they try to copy strike you. I'm sure they try to copy strike this video, but I don't know how that would work. Regardless, we'll have to find out, ladies and gentlemen. That being said, I'm going to back out of this video right over here. Hopefully you've enjoyed a little expose in North Korean operating systems, and frankly, just a light look at how using your OS that frankly hasn't been security treated could land you in some pretty hot water. Do you want your nudes being stolen? Do you want your secret files being taken away? Do you want your government secrets to be put in the eyes of the world? Well, use Red Star OS. That being said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.